Okay. Okay. We have just been joined by committee member.
Susan.
I know your name.
No, but you paused.
What is it? No, Susan Wolf. Just kidding. I was looking to write something down. And we have confirmation of proper notice. Notice posted May 12th according to statutory requirements. Roll call. All right. Mr. Perrin? Here. Mr. Perry?
Here.
Mr. Kapowicz? Here. Ms. Wolf?
Here.
Okay. And we have two guests. Ms. Perry and Ms. Conklin.
And we have one guest on the phone.
Okay. Who that?
Gus at 703.
He's on the committee, Steve.
Okay.
Chris, I missed that. Yeah, he's on the committee. So we have 2, 4, 5. Oh, yours, Pete. All right. We have some two things, standing out to cover today. Oh, all right. We'll review the minutes. Has everybody read the minutes from last month?
That they be approved.
Make a motion that they're approved. Did I get a second?
Yeah, the second.
I wasn't here.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, well, then
You want me to speak into this?
Yeah, well, it's easier. Did you hear, did anybody hear Alan when he made the motion?
Yes.
Okay, because we just moved the microphone down there and Pete. All right, today we have a couple of important topics to talk about. The palm tree trimming and the chemical and fertilizer application that was brought forward by Unit 158. And we're going to get to them one at a time because there was quite a bit of research went into them and on the coming in, and we did a lot of research on our side. So we'll talk about that and see where we stand. Coming first. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. Yeah. Give you a
you all have what I have in front of you. We put it in front of 101 all the way to 764 in the front, the back, and the side, plant-wise. Your remaining balance is $5,415.13. Your rainfall for the month is 2.0 inches.
Right.
I figured that'd be easier than me reading everything that we planned.
Right. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, the first thing we'll address is the questions brought to us by 158 about our fertilization program. Number one, how many fertilizer applications are done on an annual basis in our property? We have 12 done. 6 fertilizers, 6 weed control. And they're done in the last week of each month. So she's talking about nobody knows when they're coming, so forth. So we're going to put it on the internet, on Wildewood's internet. Exactly when they're coming. 12 of them the last week of the month. Huh? No, you can as we go, yeah.
So, growing up, I just had fertilizing the lawn. We're doing 12 fertilizers and then chemicals. So, is that one or another? Is it typical?
Typical down here, not and for this size property. It's accessible.
Typical?
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
you know, fertilization. Fertilizations vary on what they put down. They might put down the summer weed seed or winter weed seed. They also put down just basic fertilizer to help stuff grow. So it's not the same fertilization and putting down every time. It's different. Right. So is this
Same schedule we've been on, but, about right? Yeah.
Same schedule from before me.
yeah.
Yep. Same schedule I can remember.
And it happens to be the same schedule that all of Perico Bay Club used. Well, 80 properties that my company managed before I sold had the same basic process throughout the entire community, from all of Elcon villages over there, up and down the street, Pine Bay Forest, Perico Bay Club, and on the beach.
Yeah.
Same basic type of.
Because we do have a lot of dogs.
We always have.
I'm gonna address that.
Yeah, we always have had a lot of dogs.
Yep. So number 2 was, after becoming a mature landscape community, why do we need this many applications over year for years? This is why our property is the way it is, because we do this. So all of a sudden, we got a mature lawn, we won't do it. Now, all the years getting to where we are, not gonna do it anymore, cut it down, so now we go back to where we started. That makes sense. I mean, even if I had my yard and I stopped fertilizing it, why? If I had a nice lawn, I'm gonna let it go back to seed. So, it's mature fine, and that's how you keep it that way. And the annual cost for fertilizer application.
It's $3,475 a month. That includes all 2 years, 2 times tree applications, and shrub applications, and turf applications.
John, could I ask, is it my understanding that half of the applications of fertilizer are straight fertilizer, and the other half are weed and feed? Is that correct?
That's correct. So there's 6 fertilization processes and 6 weed control processes, and it's every other month.
And the weed part of it is at 2,4-D?
Jeff has the figures over there.
I'm looking for them. They're a little slow in things because White House is taken over by.
Yeah, we just give them
Yeah.
they haven't changed their chemical applications.
Yep.
Right.
Can everybody hear Jeff? Because we don't have a microphone over there.
Yeah, he needs to speak up a little bit.
Yeah, here, hold on.
Well, I'll give you, in January, they did a weed feed fertilization,
Thank you, Barbara.
4,450 pounds out of a 1608 weed and feed fertilizer.
1608, Chris.
Okay.
They also did a herbicide spot sprayed broadleaf for weeds, an insecticide 100-gallon spot sprayed turf for chinch bugs, and they also did a fungicide 30 pounds of heritage fungicide for brown patch disease in the turf.
Well, one of the
Did I answer your
things,
question?
yeah, but one of the things that we probably, I think, need to explain to the residents is that that's not just a weed and feed. That's an insecticide and a fungicide too, and of the kinds of chemicals that we would be applying, insecticides are by far the most potent and the most risky as far as animals and pets. Insecticides were always something when I was farming that I didn't like to handle, period. So that, I think we should definitely notify residents before we do any insecticides. And fungicides are not as potent or as normally a big problem. But anytime we use something other than fertilizers, I think fertilizers in my mind are pretty benign. but not everybody would agree with that. But the other types of chemicals, we probably need to occasionally publish on the website what they are. You know, what's being applied, and so people know. And most of those would have what do they call it? An MS something sheet. Yeah, they have to have those.
MSB sheet.
Yeah, and it's not a bad idea for us to have that posted somewhere.
All right, that's why I made mention of putting it on the website.
Right. No, I think that we should do that.
This, go ahead.
I have a degree in horticulture, which doesn't mean a whole lot because I got it in Iowa. So my Iowa knowledge is different, but meantime, they're saying, like with the type of soil in Iowa, it doesn't wash out of the soil as much as it does in sandy soil. With sandy soil, they have to do a little bit at a time because they don't want it to wash into the bay, but they can't do a big application in the summer and then just let it go because we don't have the humus or organic matter to hold on to it. It would just wash into the bay. So between our rain and the type of soil we have, they have to do it a little bit at a time. Plus our growing season is, 12 months a year. And then you get into,
Right.
facts that we have lots of fungus and we have lots of bugs.
Yep.
And if you don't fertilize the grass, the weeds will grow. The weeds grow really well without the fertilizer, whereas the grass needs the fertilizer, and so we need it in order to maintain,
Yeah.
the health of what we've got going
And
here.
we're working with zero phosphorus, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I meant to mention when we first started, the whole program, Brightview, has to be certified by the state, covering themselves, safety, legal. John has to have all the paperwork. We have to do the same thing with Jose doing his weeding. So everything that's done is what the state wants done, how you operate. We just follow their rules. If we can't do something, we don't do it. And they're talking about dogs. I know at the meeting, talked about talking to a vet. And I myself followed up. And for a dog that size, get what would be that, maybe that bottle in a cup. That dog ate right out of the bag that much. He would have sick to his stomach, stools, worst.
Like what she was like.
The worst. It's never, as long as I've been here, it's never, we haven't lost any at all. No cats, no dogs. And then they mention here about a dog dying of cancer or something. Dogs and cats get cancer just like people, same type of cancers. I've had a dog and cat that never touched their feet in Wildewood Springs that died of cancer. So that's also, I don't know where this information all came from, but a lot of it is not correct.
Okay. So maybe we need more clarification. The little flags that went out to let our cluster was just, and then we would know to walk our dogs somewhere else, so they weren't fresh. Right. But there haven't been any flags.
Yeah,
There's one
yes, they are.
flag, it's unclear, what does it
It
apply to? Does it apply to the cluster, the village?
There is. I just picked some up when I was mowing because they're putting them in front of the sidewalks and all in the grass.
That could have been there a month.
Actually, it was done according to the sticker 514.
There's nothing. The last application, guy came around spraying stuff with the pellets. No flags.
Let me try to help there.
Yeah, John talked to him about that, so does Steve.
The state regulation, believe it or not, which I think is pretty requires one flag for the entire property. However, I've talked to Ed Coyle, and, he's chief general manager of running the operational manager was West Bay, now Brightway. He's still there, the same guy, 15 years. They put out as many flags as they can, and they try to put a minimum of one at each cluster head. And I know that, not to hate Pat when she got up Monday at the meeting when she said there were no flags up for the application on Saturday. After I left the meeting, I drove through here, and sure enough, she may not have seen the flag, but there was a flag there at the head of her cluster, right after the meeting. Well, I mean, I'm told Ed, put more out. That's all I've said, so everybody could know. And I also talked to him. He told me about what the vet did. He said, John, the animals would have to eat a 14, 16-ounce bowl even to get remotely sick. But that the bag, information on bag, harmful to animals, harmful to kids. All attorneys scrub that they put on the bags to protect themselves for other reasons. But we are in an era where the chemicals and the fertilizers that are put down now are probably 100% safer than what 5 to 7 years ago. Plus the fact they're probably 40% as effective because they've taken out. Am I right or wrong?
That's what I wanted to say, and half as effective.
And half as effective.
Never mind the brain damage.
Yeah, the Roundup situation, I mean, Roundup kept saying, oh, we're safe.
Yeah.
Well, then people started dying. So it's not so safe, and it's not on the
Right.
market for commercial use
Yeah.
anymore.
Right.
But it worked.
And that's why you see these dollar weeds that are out there everywhere when it gets wet. Diazonine is the only thing that kills it. It's the only thing, but you're not allowed to use it anymore. So, I mean, you're going to have a proliferation of something. But, I mean, no one, more than anyone here, nobody wants to harm the animals. The biggest harm to animals here today are 6 to 8 coyotes that run around. Matter of fact, one ran right across me yesterday at 3:30 or 4 o'clock when I was leaving yesterday. They're eating the small animals. They're eating the rabbits. They're eating the squirrels. They're eating. This year, I bet we've had one raccoon call. One. Well, we used to get 20 this time of year. So that's what's really happening. But of course, we want to be safe, and I think that we will all agree to post it on the website. Anything and everything. The more transparent we can be, the better we'll be.
I'm sitting there going, I'm old, and there's people older, they're probably not using the website. So I'm thinking if we put, like, we have the notice
On the bulletin board.
on the bulletin boards for all the meetings, maybe just have one of those little things to remind people that this is the week that, you know, they're putting down some fertilizer or whatever.
Well,
It could be just a permanent one.
hey, John.
Can I ask you, do they do the front at the same time they back?
Yes.
They do everything.
When they do an
Kind
application.
of like, where do you walk your dog? So
Yeah.
if they put the signage out front, then we can walk, we should, maybe
See, and
they
then-
can walk the dog to the back
There was
that day.
another thing addressed on here. Why don't we run the sprinklers immediately after they do it? And right back to her. Now, you run the sprinklers, now the grass is wet. Now the dog does walk on it, they're gonna pick the stuff up. It's not dry. Plus you've washed the stuff down, like you said.
Well, our system, don't forget,
Some of
what we
it's
have.
systemic and needs to be on the leaf, and some of it needs to get into the ground. So
Yes,
it depends on what
yeah,
they're
Yep.
putting down.
How many valves do we have, Jeff? 1,500?
Yeah.
We have, in reserve, probably about 20 irrigation control valves, minimum of 16 on each station. You take 16 times 20, a lot.
That's 320 anyway. I'll forget it.
That's just zones, that's not counting how many irrigation heads that are out there. Probably about 5,000, maybe? That might be a little light,
It's
but
kind of, it'd
5,000.
be almost impossible for the system, the way we have designed, to try to run it immediately after an application. If it's wide.
John addresses the other thing that'll be it, but where's the wildlife gone? My understanding is we used to be more. I've been here 30 years. You have. Anything that's more wildlife. Coyotes, the lake inhabitants, birds. I came home the other night, dropped Barbara off. She went to walk in the house, and a possum walked in front of her. There's plenty of wildlife here. If anything, there's more wildlife.
I mean, black snake.
Huh?
Yeah, we
Oh,
still
yeah.
have that today.
They
Yeah.
still startle me.
That's it. So the wildlife hasn't gone. Like John said, the coyotes might be getting the small animals, but it's not us.
Would as far as the sprinkling goes, wouldn't everything get sprinkled about every second or third day, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's-
Oh, absolutely. But this letter, Chris, which you may not have a copy.
No,
or email.
I saw it, John, and
Okay.
you know, I understand what she's saying about sprinkling it right away, but it seems to me that within 2 to 3 days, everything would have water on it.
Absolutely.
So I just want to thank the landscape team because when you guys, the grounds look beautiful. It's just, I don't always know all the details, that's always find it.
I agree.
But we just, I guess it's communication, being aware of what is going on. And we know what to do with our text to give our own peace of mind.
Yeah.
So, but we appreciate everything that.
Thank you. So that was kind of the fertilizer application. Any questions? Okay, now,
You all can use my office if you want to for that phone call.
me did a lot of research on this. So, it moved John and I to same amount. And he'll explain to you, because he talked to John Brown instead of me talking secondhand. John Brown's, yeah.
Are we talking about palm trees?
Palm tree
cutting?
trimming.
Okay,
Is
thank you.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I immediately contacted, as the committee asked me to, our palm tree trimmer, John Brown, who's been our trimmer since, here again, last 10 years. And asked him if he could come and talk. Unfortunately, this was a week of his vacation and killing Bambi up in Michigan or something like that. I don't know. That's what he does. But anyway, his say was, to be quite frank about it, he is not of the school of the lesser trimming. And he said, number one, having been on this property for 11 years, we have not only taken one palm tree down because it was in a pit with water and it rotted, and that was the end of the street. Secondarily, he said he could not see a discount on cutting the palm trees because the fact that if you have to go to a certain level and they have to dig in and take out the pods and things like that, it actually is more time consuming than what they do. And their setup costs and their drive-in costs and their cutting costs remain the same. There could be a slight discount in the dump cost because there'd be some less fronds, but he is not offering a discount for less cutting. And quite frankly, although he is I'm just thinking ophthalmologist, but I don't get arborist. I couldn't get the word out. He does not 100% believe in that.
So with the idea not 100%, I think that the visual aspects of this stick with 3 little prongs coming out of the top is kind of not gorgeous. And leaves do provide food for the palm tree. So can we take it down a notch? I mean, can we have some more leaves up there instead of the...
We've never cut though, like 5 past 11 or 10 past 10.
10-2.
We never have 10-2.
10-2.
Yeah.
What you're talking is a pencil cut. when they come
I've
in and,
seen it though.
when they actually boot the tree all the way up and then they went to like a pencil and there's only
Yeah.
maybe 3 at the
I
top.
have a non-political term
Yeah.
for that pencil cut, but I've seen
Yeah.
it, so they've done it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they're not directed to do that. That is not sure.
Okay.
in the 21 years I've been here, they've been doing the same kind of cut for the past 21 years that I've been here. There hasn't been one tree that has died or suffered because of the cut. They've died because, like John said, of wet rot. I've seen them hit by lightning. I've seen them get borer beetles in the center, which kills the tree. But not one of them has died. If they had, you wouldn't have any palm trees on the property.
I'm not
If
saying
that was to damage the tree in
it's
any
just
kind.
not growing as well
Yeah.
because you've removed, half of its food source.
Yeah.
I would respectfully disagree. There was a huge pineapple palm in Palm Tree, and it was a gorgeous palm. And it was my understanding that it died because of some sort of disease. And it may very well have been due to the fact that we were trimming it too severely. I can't agree with Mr. Brown. I just think that all the evidence is that you don't cut any live fronds, period. The state of Florida, the University of Florida's paper, all the paperwork that Tiffany provided us, every paper was in agreement. Don't cut too many fronds. Don't cut live fronds. I just think Brown's doing this because he can make money doing it. And I just don't think he's right at all. The evidence is very clear that we shouldn't be cutting any live fronds off of palms. And I will make that motion that we do not cut any live fronds and that we only cut dead fronds and seed pods.
I second that.
That was Gus who seconded it.
Yes.
My question is we have him on the property here, what, twice a year or 3 times a year? That's probably what he's doing, is setting anticipation goes to this property every now and then. Increase the price, so you can't, if I'm trying to anticipate this product in 10 weeks, and I won't be back for 10.
That's definitely the hard thing, because, like, I've been here 30 years, and you get to know the feeling of the residents. Phone call. Honest to God, if dead fronds, there's 10 phone calls. So it's got to be some kind of a situation where we're not gonna have in between cuttings. We're not gonna have dead fronds.
Can we
Or anything.
compromise and do something like a 9-3 cut instead of a 10-2 cut? So that will leave, a compromise. Yeah, because those heavy fronds are going to start drooping down. So you're still going to have a palm tree.
Yeah.
Something else, Peter, I think we're aware of it now. Because lackadaisical on top of it all, as opposed to, let's think about this. Is this way?
And, another thing, we were just at a conference yesterday where, Brightview had a vendor set up, and I talked to him briefly about it, and, it just sounds a little suspect that Brown is saying that less trimming won't cost less money, and so, since we already contract with Brightview, it wouldn't hurt to reach out for a second a little bit more information about what another company might save us to not do all that extra work.
Do we do a competitive bid every year? Or?
We have not, we have not in the past. We certainly can. His price been consistently lower than the average at 27 a tree, 18. It varies. Yeah, 18. The average price out there is about 24 to 25. We have 1,100 and some odd trees we trim. The tree trim budget course, all trees are involved in it, but the palm tree portion is around $27,000 a year.
And our contract right now is with him for 2022, is it calendar year, or how does that work?
No, we just set it up every year. So he has not changed his price. When we bid it 5, 6 years ago, he has not raised his price.
He hasn't raised the price, and he was the best
In
bid
5
we had.
years?
Yeah.
Mhm.
$1,000.
So, it's,
So he probably wouldn't mind cutting less.
Well, that's why I called him with every intent to have him say, okay, well, we cut 15% less or 20% less. There could be a 10 or 12 or 14% decrease. That's what I thought he was going to say. And when he said no, he says, by the time we pick and choose and reach and cut and move out the interior stuff we have to move out, it's just as time consuming. The only thing there might be saved is a slight amount of hauling fee where they dump, because they have to pay. It's all part of the dump fee too. He takes out of here maybe 25 mega truckloads a year. She's seen him. She's seen his trucks. So,
Would dump fee be worth it? The savings in, like this lady was saying with the 9 to 3?
9 to 3, that's what I was gonna question.
Because we have a motion and seconded on the table at the moment that is saying not cutting off any leaves.
well,
So,
no, he's saying
or-
9 to 3. I think, Chris, are you saying basically 9 to 3?
No,
He was saying
no,
not any.
I'm saying don't cut any live fronts. That's what the recommendations
Okay,
are
all right.
from the University of Florida. That's what all the articles that Tiffany provided us all agree with that you don't cut any live fronts.
Okay, all right. I just
When-
wanted to have an understanding for everybody here.
And then as far as what everyone else is saying is if there's one brown leaf, he's gonna be getting, calls. So if that live frond is half dead and half green, is he cutting it or not cutting it? So I think that, we need to give him the right to be able to cut
Yeah.
off some
Yes,
of this.
yeah, because
But so,
how often is he in?
but
How often does he do the pounds?
so if we can get,
The university's
only-
recommendation is to not cut anything that's got any green in it at all.
All right, so by that case, Brown comes in here once a year for the palms. What are we gonna do about the dead palms in the meantime? The dead fronds? Because what's green, when he comes, a year from now, not gonna be green, and we're just gonna be,
probably gonna be falling on someone's head by that time.
yeah, either falling on somebody's head, safety problems, or the residents are not gonna be happy. I mean, I know the people in here, and they're not.
Insurance is gonna scare me.
Huh?
I didn't cut, I have a palm in my back courtyard.
Yeah.
One year I did not have Brown, I wasn't there when he came.
Yep.
I didn't get him a trimming. I had a big prong come down, split my umbrella wide open, and if my wife would've been sitting in her chair that she usually does, she would not be with us. It just split the umbrella and came right down and broke her chair. We got prongs, I got another one right out front that belongs to the community.
Yep.
It's right over my front sidewalk.
Yep.
And,
people walking dogs and,
yeah,
and
we're gonna have,
automobiles, I mean,
you think our insurance is high now? We hurt somebody.
and the only way you control that
God
is you'd
forbid
have
we
to have
kill somebody.
John Brown every 3 months or something. My God.
Okay, so what do we think about, do we have to vote on this one before I put something else out to vote on?
Well, there is a motion on the floor, yes.
Okay,
So that would, following the proper rules of organization, and Robert and everybody else, and Fred, and whoever else we follow, we would vote on this particular motion.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor, but under discussion, you could say possibly, if I don't vote for this, I might vote for this, just to let people know what you're thinking about.
okay, well, what I'm thinking about is I would like to, after this is over, discuss doing a 9-3 cut.
9:15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be like a 90-degree angle instead of that, little degree tank.
Yeah.
It would be,
All right.
and that would get rid of some of those brown things that we don't want falling on people's heads.
Yeah.
Okay, that's, okay,
All right.
I'm done talking.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor, Chris, not to cut any
green.
Right.
Any live farm.
Any live prawns.
Any, even if it had brown on it, if it has green on it, it's considered alive, and so it has to be left on the tree. That's what we're voting on.
All right, so,
I'll call the roll if you want. Okay. All right, the motion is to, cut no live or no green fronds off the palm tree, okay? It would be either yes or no. Chris Perry,
Yes.
Gus Miller,
Yes.
Alan Kapowitz,
No.
Sue Wolf,
No.
Peter Farren. No. Motion fails 3-2.
okay, so, go ahead now.
Can I bring a motion to the board that we, go for a 9-3 cut versus what we currently are doing is the 10-2 cut? That would leave, most of the younger, alive,
Right.
midlife leaves on the tree, and that would get rid of the older ones that have the potential to be turning brown in the following 12 months and falling on someone's head potential
Right.
for
Add to
aesthetics
that.
and safety.
9-3, and if fronds have russet brown on them and green, cut them then.
If they're,
Because he's not gonna be back for a year.
if they've got brown on them, but
Yeah.
not just a little tip
No,
from
I'm saying
dryness, I mean, that's
something that
ridiculous,
will turn-
significant,
Something that will turn brown and maybe a safety hazard,
yeah.
like Steve said. So do I have a motion to, go ahead, no, discussion.
There's a motion first on the motion.
We'll get the motion first and then,
Is there a second?
Hmm?
A second.
Second? I second it.
That's what you want. Huh? You don't have to.
You're not sure?
You don't have to.
You wanna keep it at the 9, or the
No,
10?
Right now, if this motion isn't seconded, we just go forward with with what's being cut now.
Okay, then. Second, but you've already done.
All right.
Okay.
I thought somebody seconded it.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, Sue Wolf made the motion, and as Alan Kapowitz seconded. Tiffany's going to speak now.
Quick discussion, I support Sue's motion, I think it's a great idea and a good medium ground. And I will say that doing the 11-1 or 10-2 cuts that we're having now, by this time of the year, I know mine outside of my unit are only down to 9-3, so they only gain about an hour's worth of extra fronds, put out 10 to 15 more in the course of a year. So I think that, they won't be getting too goofy or brown, and hopefully this will work for everybody. So throwing my support behind it.
Any other discussion?
Well, this can be changed at any time at another meeting, correct?
Well, you are basically sending you are basically sending a recommendation to the board for its considering, because they ultimately are in charge of the welfare of the community and the aesthetics.
Once we do this, we're into it for a year, no matter what, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What, what they've done in the past, and I think Jeff said they did it in the past, but one of the things could be done is, we could try to find 3 like palm trees next to each other and leave one, cut one, and then cut one more. Have people take a look at it over a period of time and make a decision too. But I mean, that's, we can't do that between now and July, and it has to be in effect. Somebody's alarm clock. Any other discussion on motion now on the floor?
Yeah, I would have to say that they've done that comparison in the papers that Tiffany presented last meeting. They have compared how a tree that was trimmed versus a tree that wasn't trimmed stood up in a hurricane, and the one that was trimmed did not survive a hurricane as well as one that wasn't trimmed. So the idea that this trimming is helping for hurricanes just doesn't hold water. It just doesn't stand up. The tree is better having its full complement of fronds, and it will withstand the wind just as well, if not better, than if you trim it. The idea that was brought up that there are fronds that are going to drop, that happens anyway. In my neighborhood here, we probably have a fairly large heavy frond drop every couple of weeks, despite the fact that we did a lot of trimming last year. So I don't want to get hit by a frond either. I don't, but it's for the best for the tree. And that's the thing that we should be taking into consideration. Owners, quite honestly, Peter, don't understand the agronomy, the health of the tree, what's good for the tree. And that's what we need to take into account. We've had more than one or two palms that have died here. It seems to me that it's a higher number than that.
Not from hurricanes. Not from hurricanes. Remember, we had all kinds of losses with all different types of trees except palms. So
I understand that, Peter, but we've had palms that get diseases, and the diseases may be from over trimming.
So
If you think of a solid umbrella in the wind will catch it and, take it away.
sure.
So
No,
therefore, so the
that doesn't work.
have like,
Take a look at the articles that were presented.
well, what I'm trying to say is that palms already come pre-shredded, so palms were made for Florida.
And also, you just stated that you have, every couple of weeks, you have fronds falling. With your original plan not to trim at all, which was denied, we really would have had them falling. We will constantly have phone calls. So this is what we're trying to avoid. Keeping brown coming once a year and doing like the 9, 9:15, and any stuff that appears to be becoming brown that's going to be a safety hazard or...
It's kind of a compromise.
Yeah, because the aesthetics mean, believe me, people will call. They will, will, Tiffany.
Oh, I'm sure,
yeah.
I'm sure that's why we put together the website.
So yeah. So what we're saying now, that sounds good.
I love Steve's idea to compromise with the 9 to 3.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to do 9 to 3 cutting, and any fronds that are brown, more brown than green, to take off. Anything that seems to will be a safety hazard also to remove.
All right, if I may speak, please, and
Sure.
It's not on either side, it's just a statement of fact, okay? We have many, many sales during the year here. People are really happy to move into the community. Even those who can't find a place say, boy, your community looks beautiful. Boy, your community looks neat. Boy, it looks clean. And I'm just saying that there's going to be, if we change the process, that concept theoretically could be out the window. That's all I'm saying. We're gonna get calls and we're gonna need a bigger budget. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
I live with it.
You think that they like the looks of the,
They love it.
that little,
That's the, well, that's the
political
impression.
thing I'm calling
No,
it?
when they come in, they don't say, I love the looks of everything except your stupid palm trees. So
Oh,
they
no.
must be including it.
Well, I'm thinking they're including it because the palm trees are full and gorgeous. They aren't here the day after Browns came by and massacred the place.
Yeah, no shade.
Okay, well, listen, I'm just saying that we have to be prepared for some changes. When anything's changed, you always make some change here.
Anything's changed.
Listen, I'm your administrator. I will do exactly what you want.
Yeah.
I'm just letting you know what I hear.
Well, it's ultimately left to the board anyway, but all we can do is give them our findings that you've got there, Tiffany.
Yeah, it's a
Your
website, very good
recommendations,
website. Yeah.
Steve?
I would have to agree with John. Unfortunately, people really don't care about what Florida State says about the health of the trees.
Yeah.
People, unfortunately, just want to see beautifully clean. I mean, I get friends of mine that live over in Meadowcross, and when he comes over here to play pickleball, his palms look so nice. All of ours, we got like dead limbs hanging down, and they look like crap. Yeah, but most people
I
just
think
want a
that's
really
a
good look.
generalization.
But I'm okay with the 9. We could try the 9 and see how many complaints we get, or how many limbs fall. I just want that out there.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to do a 9-to-3 cut, or as close as possible, including removing the pods and things of that nature. And so for the motion, Chris Perry,
Yes, reluctantly.
all right, Alan Kapowitz,
Yes.
Gus Miller,
Yes.
Sue Wolf,
Yes.
Pete Farren.
Yes.
Unanimously. Okay. And along with that, just to ensure that everything is correct, we will attempt to get we will get new bids.
I mean, everything's subject to change. We'll see what,
Sure.
down the road.
We can try it.
Yeah.
Well, and this is a step towards that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, this is like taking a little baby step towards
Yeah.
not trimming it.
If we get another bid and it's considerably less, then maybe we can bring them in a month and get rid of the brown dead ones.
Well, I mean, we got time now between now and July to get
Another bid.
more than one quote.
Which would be even better if we could get something twice a year.
Well, we know what, having had the multitude property experience that I've had in my
Yeah.
life, there are tree trimmers and there are tree trimmers.
Mm-hmm.
And Brown is exceptional,
Yeah,
the way he gets in with
he
his
is.
equipment and gets things out.
Yes.
They're not the only one, but they're very, very good.
Yeah.
Right way, hey, they tree trim, they bug me even when they weren't on this property. Every day they want to come in here and cut this. So I can see why they'll give you a sales pitch. And if it becomes beneficial, we'll have to look at it. But what we know is that we get a heck of a job by the guy that does it.
That's good.
Brown, and if we have a problem, he's right there. So it's just.
Well, we'll have to see, but,
Yeah.
here again, it's my job to make sure we get the best buck for, bang for our buck too.
Yep, and see, with the residents, if things deteriorate, phone call wise and this, that, and the other thing, then we're gonna,
Well, I make it look a little bit, or I think it looks a little bit like the carrotwood issue. Carrotwoods flourish.
Yep.
Do you leave them grow and they dump everything, or you totally take them out? And that's what we've been doing, taking the trees out.
Yep.
Well, carrot wood now is considered like a weed.
Of course it is that.
Yeah, you're not even allowed to plant them anymore,
That's
so.
right, but that, we've still got them everywhere.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see rot. We had one about 35 footer that just fell over, or two of them now.
Yeah, two of them.
Two of them, just, and they fell over right at the base. They were rotted right at the base.
Yep.
So they may be going out. But what I'm saying
They
is,
probably reached their lifespan, because those were all planted right.
at the same time.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, yep, yep,
Okay,
all right.
what I'm saying is, I don't wanna get to the point where we have such a debate over the palm trees where we say, let's take them out because they're bothersome.
Oh, God forbid.
Yeah,
That'll never- No, no. So, all right. Any other owners' comments?
Owner request, we have that one gentleman to send us
Remove palm trees.
no, he wants to, cut palm trees no. No, he has, Mr. Farnsworth in, 615,
6:15.
just bought the unit, loves it here. Has a row of, a shrub row of beautiful, viburnum behind there, and he wants them taken out so he can get full access of walking in and out of his unit.
Wants to rip out 15 feet of shrubs.
He sent in a work order, and I answered him by saying that it's the policy of the landscape committee not to remove live plants that are flourishing.
I'm completely against that.
And so now he sent an email directed to the committee. That's why you have it in front of you.
He wants his pond views, basically. Right?
Well, they're still,
I mean, unless he's only 4 foot tall.
Oh, they're 4 foot high? I was intending to go look, but,
no, they're
No,
probably
yeah,
waist
but-
high. They're probably waist high.
Actually, John, I walked by there last night, and the shrubs there are only mid-thigh high. In fact, his are lower than everybody else's in that whole line of units there. And he has an opening for his doorway. It looks to me like what he wants is to be able to, have a better view of the pond there, when he's, I don't know, either sitting or reclining, I guess. So I didn't have a strong feeling one way or the other, but it seemed to me that it's not necessary to take those out to give him access from his doorway. He has that.
Okay. Well, actually, Chris, I was using Jeff's waist as
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, is there a motion on the floor?
I make a motion that we notify the gentleman that we do not remove live, healthy shrubbery.
Repeat I've already did that, but we'll do it again. But the committee has rejected it, all right? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Take a vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's
Gus, is that opposed, or was I too fast with the opposed? Gus, are you agreeing with the motion?
Yeah, he did.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, it's unanimous, thank you.
All right.
I do have, hey, John, I do have a question about that.
Sure.
Is there any way that the shrubs that are there can be, trimmed down a little lower and kept down lower? Would that be detrimental to the?
They're pretty low. They're not much more than 2.5 feet now.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, and we've just trimmed all the backs of all the units, and like I said, Chris is probably right. It's probably more mid-thigh than it is waist.
Yeah, that one's lower than the other ones around it. And that's where one of our gorgeous poinciana trees are. It's in bloom now. And so if anybody gets a chance to walk back there, it's a good chance to see that tree.
glad you mentioned poinciana trees, Jeff.
I have a owner's request from, Wendy Bernhardt to plant a royal poinciana at the end of the boulevard in memory of Tom Lawton, who just passed away this past week. I got prices for it, and I gave Wendy the prices for both of them. I'm just waiting to hear back from her, depending on what the committee says.
But she's requesting the fact that the neighbors
Yeah.
will purchase the tree,
They'll purchase it.
and they want us to put it
They want us to
in
do it,
that
yeah.
location at
Yeah.
the foot of the street.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, do I
Is
have
there
a
a motion?
motion to that effect?
I'm not too sure where we're putting it, but
At
is
the
it
very end.
appropriate?
At the very end of the boulevard. Oh, yeah, it's a wide open area, and the
Right.
tree that she wants is that royal poinciana. It's red, it'll get huge.
I love rose poincianas, yes.
Nice shade tree at the end of the boulevard. It'll give you color at the end of the boulevard as well.
I'll put money in towards that, sure. I'll put my own money, not just towards money.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
Oh, okay. I have a
I,
motion.
I will move, I will so move. It would be a really great spot for a tree like that. And I would, I don't know how much money they want to spend, but I would try to get as big a tree as possible.
We're talking about like right at the end of Wildwood Springs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now
Right.
I can picture it.
Yeah. All right. Motion made by Chris, seconded by
Okay, I'll
Sue Wolf.
second.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Uni. Okay, thank you.
Great. All right, so, I think we're pretty good.
Committee comments. Committee comments.
Any committee comments, Alan?
I just wanted to ask if we were talking about not killing any or taking out anything that's live. I
Right.
noticed, and I don't know what the number is, the Pinehurst, one that would be on the east, the last one on the east side, they took off out something behind there.
That was that was a, it used to be,
Next mother-in-law,
not Sheffield area, it was, it's behind,
Pat.
no,
Sansevieria?
no, I'm trying to, the multi-stemmed palm,
Oh, okay.
Eureka, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the Eureka palm that had 9 stems, was down to 2, and the tops were brown, and, Alan, the owner, Darla and, what's his name, Bert Kahn,
Yeah.
have new windows put in, and they were afraid of the shakiness of the tree in a storm to crash into their windows, and we cut it at the base, and there were just two struts left.
This, I think, was an area around the base trees.
Oh, I may be talking about something else.
158.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Pat
The
and Janet.
snake plant.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. Oh, yeah, the mother-in-laws, they call them?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Well, they requested those to come out. At least Pat did, and now that they're out, Jan's very upset. So
They're fighting them up.
they're actually having a little civil war in that house.
Yeah, so.
And
we stuck in the middle.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I hate Sansevieria's plants. I think most of them probably got planted because someone got one of those little things with the little palm and the little philodendron and the little thing, and they stuck them in the ground, and the only thing that survived was the Sansevieria.
Yeah.
50 years later, now you have a big patch of.
That's what this was. That's what this was, about the size of half this room.
Yeah.
So they asked to take, what they asked was that many of them had great tips, and they wanted us to go in on a weekly basis and cut the grays off. And we just didn't have the time or the energy to be able
I'll buy
to
them
do
a
it.
scissors.
Yeah. So it was take them out or not, and that's what they went for. At least Jan didn't realize that that's what they went for.
They will probably be back because unless you've got all of that root
Oh,
system
Oh,
is
it's still
coming
there.
back.
It's
They'll
still
be
there.
back.
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
back.
they'll be back. Alrighty, so
Next
we
time
can,
we should give Jan a vote.
yeah. It looks very different, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could get all of them out, I wouldn't be,
Well, it'd be a nice turf area
I would,
if we could get the roots out. You're right.
or can you implant another wonderful
are you passing out money now while you're here?
Yeah, this is towards Paul's plant.
Well, that's very nice.
You're welcome.
Well, okay. Sue just gave us about 500. You just bought the plant.
100.
You just bought the
Towards.
plant.
No,
Well,
you're
that's
gonna buy a big one, it's gonna cost a lot more than
Okay,
that.
thank you. So we'll just contribute toward that plant. $100.
I wanted to do it.
Do I
before
hear
forgot.
125? Okay.
All right, so we, schedule the next.
Any other, Gus, or?
Anything?
Anything on committee comments?
No.
No.
I just have one.
Jeff?
Since we've been mowing every week, I've been finding a lot more solar lights, pots, flags, ornaments,
Jeff.
edging, fencing in front of the bushes that are staying on common ground. And for us to mow it or weed eat it, I don't want responsibility of breaking anything while we're out there trying to do our job. These are actually on common ground areas.
We could put a little notice up on the bulletin
You know what?
board.
No, I'll tell you what, I go around with Steve, I go around with Pete, or we're giving people a little latitude of making it feel like they're home, and we seem to like it. Sorry, Jeff.
I'm just saying, I don't want the responsibility of when you guys are out there.
When have you ever had it? We break windows, we
Yeah.
break everything, the association always pays, so you don't have the responsibility.
Okay, schedule the next meeting.
Next meeting,
Summer.
are you gonna take a little summer break? I know some people will be gone in June,
Yes,
July.
July. So what do you want, take a break? I mean, it's up to you guys.
What's the feeling of the people on the phone?
I
Chris, you gonna
can,
be gone for a bit?
yeah, I won't be, in town, for 2 months, but, I can zoom in if you want. That's up to you guys.
What does everybody think? We just take a break or what?
Well, we should have something no later than August to start developing the budget.
Yeah.
If you want to take a couple months hiatus,
Yeah.
that's up to you.
If you want to, it's up to everybody. You want to skip June, July, and then August have a meeting, and then we'll start to be getting into the fall, talking about the impatience for the boxes and so forth. How's that sound?
That sounds all right with me. I'm here all the time.
I'm retired, I'm here, I don't care. What do you wanna do?
Chris, that sound good?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
That would be August 18th.
August 18th.
Okay, August 18th.
Gus, okay?
That works for me.
Okay, great.
Good. All right.
How's the weather up in Kentucky?
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, great.
I'd rather be there.
Okay.
I'd rather be there, but it's beautiful here.
Beautiful. It's a nice thing.
So do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Okay.
All right, great.
Well, have a great summer, Pete.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you.